Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I'll be discussing what I thought of the latest and very good horror movie that just dropped in theaters earlier tonight, The Strangers Chapter 1, the first of a trilogy that are all expected to come out later this year and possibly early next year. We have no release dates as of yet for the next two films, but stay tuned for those eventual release date confirmations. Now, before I get to discussing the movie at great detail and length, please be warned, this is a spoiler-filled review. So if you haven't seen The Strangers Chapter 1 and you plan to watch it at some point this weekend, you don't want to keep watching or listening, as I will be discussing spoilers, plot details, character stuff, all that jazz. That being said, you have been warned. Let's dive right back into it. Spoilers starting now. Basically, this movie gave me exactly what I had hoped to get out of it. You know, it was a good home invasion horror movie, but it also had some elements that were very reminiscent of some other beloved horror movies of mine, such as Scream, Signs. What was the other one? Scream, Signs, and there was another movie it reminded me of. Oh, of course, I'm drawing a blank now. But, you know, I liked how it reminded me of those other horror films because it was like, you know, being terrorized in your home by a stranger in a mask, much like Scream, hearing boards creaking and someone being on your front patio when you're home in a strange cabin or a house, very much like Signs when the aliens attack and you can hear them outside the house. It's very reminiscent of that. And basically, this movie did not disappoint. I got what I wanted to see. It moved at a pretty decent pace. It was very creepy. Not necessarily scary, but very creepy. And unfortunately, I do feel like they revealed or ruined some of their big scare moments through their marketing or through the trailer that we got, the official trailer that we got a few months ago. Because there were like one or two scenes that made me kind of go, yay, but the rest of the scares I saw coming because they were featured in the trailer. But thankfully, that did not take away my enjoyment of the experience of this movie to me. So I was pleased with that. It may not have necessarily been the scariest movie I've seen, but it was still pretty entertaining, and it was a big improvement over the past couple horror movies that have come out this year, both of which I did not care for, which was Night Swim and Imaginary. But I did enjoy Late Night with the Devil, which was quite good. That was probably the best horror movie I've seen this year. But Strangers Chapter 1 is also quite good, and I'm looking forward to the next one. I also love seeing the cameo from Richard Brake as the sheriff. He doesn't have a word of dialogue, but he's one of the many townspeople giving the stink eye to the young couple. And, you know, like I said, it was an enjoyable film. Even though most of the big scares had been revealed in the marketing and the trailer, it did not take away from my enjoyment of this movie. Like, I still liked it very much, and I'm intrigued and excited for the next two chapters as well, especially the way this one ends with to be continued. I knew one of them was going to make it, most likely the young woman, since there's always a final girl in horror movies, especially slasher films, but this is more of a home invasion movie than a slasher movie. And I don't know if the strangers intended to leave her alive, if we'll ever get their identities revealed in Chapter 2 or possibly Chapter 3, but it is an interesting possibility to think about. And I do like how this one ended with her in the hospital, recovering and still alive, with Baghead, I think that's his name unofficially, the male stranger lying right next to her in bed. Whew, spooky. But overall, I enjoyed this film, and it was probably one of the better horror movies I've seen this year, but there's still a lot more to come, so I'm looking forward to those films as well. But in the meantime, I liked The Strangers Chapter 1. I don't know if I'll see it again in theaters, but I probably will watch it when it gets on streaming. So thank you for watching this film review. I hope you enjoyed this movie as much as I did. What did you think of it? Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your night. The Strangers Chapter 1 is now playing in theaters. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. Thanks again for watching. And of course, until next time, what's your favorite scary movie?